A very good evening to all of you. You're watching News Tonight. My name is Aditi Nagpal Girotra. A very happy Diwali to all of you. Let's get the news rolling with the headlines first. Manohar Lal Khattar to be Haryana Chief Minister for the second time, swearing-in ceremony on Sunday at 1:15 p.m. JJP leader Dushyant Chautala to take oath as Deputy Chief Minister. World Bank Group President Davis Malpass calls on Prime Minister Modi, calls $5 trillion goal a powerful vision for Indian economy, also delivers address on the role of financial sector in development and meets Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman. At the conclusion of the 18th NAM Summit in Azerbaijan, Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu returns to New Delhi, holds bilateral discussions with presidents of Venezuela, Afghanistan and Cuba. Severe cyclonic storm Kyar to intensify over Arabian Sea in the next 24 hours. Alert issued for coastal areas of South Gujarat and Saurashtra. President, Vice President and Prime Minister greet people on Diwali. City of Lord Ram, Ayodhya illuminated with 5,51,000 lamps. UP Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath inaugurates projects worth 426 crore on the occasion. Manohar Lal Khattar will take oath as new Chief Minister of Haryana on 27th of October. The oath-taking ceremony will be held at Raj Bhavan at 2:15 p.m. on the occasion of Diwali. He is becoming the Chief Minister of Haryana for the second time. He has been unanimously elected as a leader of the Legislative Party at the meeting of the newly elected MLAs in Chandigarh. Jananayak Janata Party Chief Dushyant Chautala will take oath as the Deputy Chief Minister of Haryana.
कल के लिए, कल अर्थात 27 अक्टूबर दीपावली का दिन उन्होंने निमंत्रण दिया है कि शपथ ग्रहण का कार्यक्रम किया जाए और कल दोपहर 1:15 बजे हमने जो गणमान्य व्यक्ति हैं जो कि राजभवन में ही यह शपथ ग्रहण होगा, इसलिए बड़ा कार्यक्रम न करके जो हमारे विधायक सांसद उनके साथ या पार्टी के हमारे लोग ऐसे सब लोगों को यहाँ निमंत्रण दे करके बुलाया है। राज्यपाल महोदय ने बुलाया है, 1:15 बजे का निमंत्रण दिया है। 2:15 बजे शपथ ग्रहण का समारोह होगा जिसमें मुख्यमंत्री और साथ में उप मुख्यमंत्री, ये शपथ तो अभी से बता दिया गया है।
प्रदेश के अंदर एक स्टेबल गवर्नमेंट चले, ये निर्णय भारतीय जनता पार्टी, जननायक जनता पार्टी ने मिलकर लिया है और बेहद खुशी की बात है कि हरियाणा प्रदेश के अंदर स्थिर सरकार 5 साल हम मिलकर आगे बढ़ाने का काम करेंगे।
Earlier, Manohar Lal Khattar along with JJP Chief Dushyant Chautala and other senior BJP leaders met Governor and staked claim to form the government, which was accepted by the Governor. BJP forged an alliance with the Jananayak Janata Party on Friday. Making the announcement on Friday evening, BJP President Amit Shah asserted that the BJP-JJP alliance is in line with the spirit of people's mandate. JJP Chief Dushyant Chautala said that the alliance was necessary for stability in Haryana. BJP won 40 seats while JJP won 10 seats in the 90-member Haryana Assembly in the polls. In Maharashtra, all the leading political parties are holding deliberations for government formation in the state. Shiv Sena President Uddhav Thackeray held a meeting with the newly elected legislators in Mumbai on Saturday. After the poll results, Sena had reminded the BJP about the 50-50 formula for the alliance in the state. The formula demanded that both the parties run the Maharashtra government for 2.5 years each. Shiv Sena further demanded that Aditya Thackeray be made the state chief minister in the next government. The BJP and Shiv Sena will decide on the government formation after Diwali.
पार्टी के नेता आदरणीय अरविंद भाई शाह और मुख्यमंत्री आदरणीय देवेंद्र जी फडणवीस इन्होंने इलेक्शन के पहले जो वादा किया था कि दोनों पार्टियों को 50-50 का फॉर्मूला उन्होंने दिया था, कुछ कारण की वजह से 144 सीटों का बंटवारा नहीं हो पाया। फिर भी ये यूपी हिंदुत्व के मुद्दे पे है, इसलिए ये इलेक्शन हो गया है और यूपी भी अभेद्य रखनी है। तो जो 50-50 का फॉर्मूला, मुख्यमंत्री पद 2.5 साल और बाकी के खातों का बंटवारा जो तय हो गया, वो हिसाब से भारतीय जनता पार्टी ने लिखित स्वरूप में आदरणीय उद्धव जी को देना चाहिए और उसके बाद में ये सरकार स्थापन होगी।
The Maharashtra BJP has convened a meeting of its newly elected MLAs on 30th October to elect the leader of the House. Meanwhile, Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis is in touch with 15 MLAs, independents as well as from smaller parties for support. Newly elected NCP MLAs in Maharashtra will also meet in Mumbai on 30th October to elect the leader of the House. NCP Chief Sharad Pawar will also attend the meeting. The NCP won 54 seats, more than Ally Congress, which had to be content with 44 seats in the October 21st elections.
उनका तय हो चुका है इलेक्शन के पहले, तो तय हुआ है। उस फार्मूले में खुलकर उन्होंने बात कही है। अब 2.5 साल में रहना है, वो भाजपा मानती है तो 2.5 साल रहेंगे। अगर शिवसेना चाहती है तो 5 साल रहना है, 5 साल भी रह सकते हैं। अब निर्भर करता है उनकी भूमिका पे।
After a successful NAM summit in Baku, Azerbaijan, Vice President Venkaiah Naidu arrived in Delhi on Saturday. In a tweet, Vice President said that he had fruitful discussions and deliberations at the NAM summit. The Vice President delivered the national statement at the summit and held discussions with a number of leaders on issues of mutual interest. Earlier in the day, the Vice President visited Atishgah, a fire temple in Baku. He said that the temple is a fine example of the age-old historical relations and cultural exchanges between India and Azerbaijan. The 18th century monument has wall inscriptions in Devanagari and Gurmukhi. Venkaiah Naidu also met children at the temple in their traditional attire. On the last day of his visit to Baku, Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu met with President of Venezuela, Nicolas Maduro Moro, on the sidelines of the NAM summit. Naidu congratulated him on his successful tenure as NAM chair and discussed a wide range of issues of mutual interest. With less than a week for the Jammu and Kashmir Reorganization Act 2019 to take effect, Home Minister Amit Shah on Saturday said that the removal of Article 370 and 35A has paved the way for Kashmir's development. He added that the move had also led to terrorists starting to count their final days. The Home Minister reiterated that not a single bullet has been fired, nor a death reported in Kashmir since the abrogation of Article 370 in the restive region.
કશ્મીરના વિકાસના રસ્તાઓ ખુલી અને કશ્મીરની અંદર આતંકવાદીની અંતિમ ઘડીઓ ભણાવવાની શરૂઆત પણ 370 હટાવવાની સાથે કોંગ્રેસના નેતાઓ સંસદની અંદર ભાષણ કરે, લોહીની નદીઓ રક્તપાત છે. મારા એમને કહ્યું છે કશું નથી થયું ભાઈ, એક પણ ગોળી ચલાવી નથી પડી, એક પણ મૃત્યુ નથી થયું. કાશ્મીર શાંતિથી વિકાસના
Petroleum and Natural Gas and Steel Minister Dharmendra Pradhan has said that the demand of steel in the country has seen substantial increase and is expected to increase further in the future as India embarks to become a US $5 trillion economy. Pradhan was addressing the ministerial meeting of Global Forum on Steel Excess Capacity in Tokyo on Saturday. The minister said India's demand for steel shall be a driver of its capacity expansion. He added that countries determined to raise the per capita consumption of steel from its current low of 72 kg per capita to 160 kg per capita by 2030. With this, we'll halt in for a quick break, but we'll be back soon. Stay tuned with us.
Watch The Big Picture with me, Frank Rausen Pereira, at 9:30 p.m.
Lodi Garden, a scenic park spread nearly 100 acres in the heart of New Delhi, is rich repository of history, preserving the remnants of two dynasties who ruled the city for over a century. Today, this park is among the choicest of locations for joggers, fitness enthusiasts and nature lovers. Besides species of birds and trees, the Green Pocket is also home to an array of historical monuments which were built during the 15th and the 16th century under the rule of Lodis and Sayyids, including the tomb of Muhammad Shah Sayyid and Sikandar Lodi, Bada Gumbad, a gateway attached to a three-domed mosque, medieval-era water tank and art pulla, an 8-pied bridge across the lake built during Mughal Emperor Akbar's reign. Before 1936, the garden was identified with scattered monuments and irregular bushes. Vicereine Lady Willingdon took the initiative to curate the gardens and make it more ornate. Initially known as Lady Willingdon Park, post-independence the gardens were renamed as Lodi Gardens.
On this edition of India's World, we will analyze the bilateral ties between India and Saudi Arabia.
The Indo-Saudi relations now I think have matured. I mean, not only regular meetings at the foreign ministry level and also national security advisors level, but also at the political level.
What would this strategic partnership mean in terms of not only defense but also in terms of intelligence, in terms of counter-terrorism, an understanding of terrorism?
We maintain a set of bilateral relations and we make it very clear that we will not take sides in their disputes with each other.
These are the remains of what was once a magnificent fort that laid the foundation of Tughlaq dynasty, which ruled Delhi's Sultanate for nearly a century. Built on the southwest of the then existing capital of Delhi's Sultanate, the historic city of Mehrauli, Tughlaqabad was established in 1321 by the founder of Tughlaq dynasty, Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq. The fortress of Tughlaqabad, Delhi's fourth city, was built on the highland and had 13 gates, tall ramparts, broad pavilions which stored arsenal as well as provisions for the Tughlaq army. This fortress-like city was built keeping in mind to ward off the advancing Mughal raiders from the northwest frontier. But the grand city suffered the fate of time as it was soon abandoned after the death of Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq. His successor, Muhammad bin Tughlaq, briefly decided to shift the capital to Deccan.
Welcome back. You're still with us on News Tonight. The president of the World Bank Group, David Malpass, called on Prime Minister Narendra Modi in New Delhi on Saturday. Malpass is on a 4-day visit to India. Earlier in the day, he delivered the keynote address on the role of the financial sector in development at the 5th edition of the Niti Aayog lecture series in New Delhi. Prime Minister Modi was also present at the event. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman also held a meeting with the delegation led by Malpass in New Delhi. This is the first trip of Malpass to India after assuming charge in April this year. He is also scheduled to visit Gujarat.
I had very interesting meeting with the Prime Minister and a discussion of varied topics. We talked about the financial sector, the civil service, which I'll be speaking with the Civil Service Society day after tomorrow. We talked about the importance of data within India's economy. And
Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be on a 2-day visit to Saudi Arabia beginning Monday. During the visit, Modi will attend the session of Future Investment Summit in Riyadh on 29th of this month. Briefing Media Secretary, Economic Relations in External Affairs Ministry, T.S. Tirumurthy said, Prime Minister Modi will meet the King of Saudi Arabia and hold delegation-level talks with Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman.
Prime Minister will have a bilateral meeting with His Majesty the King, where the agreement on the Strategic Partnership Council will be signed. There will also be separate delegation-level talks with His Royal Highness the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia. Later that afternoon, Prime Minister will be addressing the FII plenary session. This will be followed by a banquet dinner hosted by His Royal Highness the Crown Prince.
He said following the delegation-level talks, an agreement on Strategic Partnership Council and MOUs in different fields will be signed. During the visit, the Prime Minister will also launch RuPay card in Saudi Arabia. Tirumurthy said both sides will also deliberate on further enhancing defense and security cooperation, adding the first naval exercise between the two nations will take place by end of this year or early next year.
Are set to finalize and move ahead on the West Coast Refinery in Raigad district of Maharashtra, which will involve investments from Saudi's Aramco, UAE's ADNOC, and Indian public sector oil companies. This will be the single largest greenfield refinery in India.
On cross-border terrorism, Tirumurthy said both India and Saudi Arabia have concerns over terrorism.
Let me assure you that Saudi Arabia has shown understanding on the recent developments vis-a-vis Jammu and Kashmir. And I'm sure that their stand has had a salutary effect on Pakistan.
The Saudi prince will host a banquet dinner for Modi on 29th of October. Modi will participate in the third edition of Arabia's FII plenary session on 29th October, and he will leave for Delhi the same night. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will share his thoughts with the people in the country and abroad in his Mann Ki Baat program on 27th October at 11 a.m. On the same day, Diwali is being celebrated across India. It will be the 58th episode of Mann Ki Baat. The Prime Minister, in his last Mann Ki Baat address to the nation, urged the people to celebrate Diwali in a safe manner to avoid the incidents of fire or loss of a life caused due to use of firecrackers. He said whatever precautions or preventive care is to be taken should be taken during Diwali. The Indian Meteorological Department has said that severe cyclonic storm Kyar has intensified into very severe cyclonic storm over the East Central Arabian Sea. It is likely to intensify further into an extremely severe cyclonic storm during next 24 hours. India Meteorological Department has said that the cyclone will move towards Oman coast during next 5 days. IMD has also issued a warning to fishermen to not venture into the sea. A red alert is issued in coastal Karnataka and Goa with heavy rains and strong winds triggered by the cyclone. Parts of South Gujarat and Saurashtra are likely to receive light to moderate rains and thunder shower over the next 4 days. Udupi, Dakshin and Uttara Kannada districts of Karnataka are likely to bear the brunt of the cyclone. Extremely heavy rains in coastal districts of Ratnagiri and Sindhudurg in Maharashtra, along with strong winds, is expected. Holiday has been declared in schools and colleges in several parts of Karnataka. Expecting a spike in Delhi's air pollution in the coming days, the central government has directed Haryana and Punjab to stop stubble burning completely. Environment Secretary C.K. Mishra said the next 1 week is critical for Delhi's air due to the festival Diwali and stubble burning in neighbouring states. He said that the next 3 weeks, especially days between October 26th to November 4th, are critical and the government is taking care. The secretary also said, though air quality is poor, it is not as bad as last year. He asserted that the authorities will intensify vigil in coming days to monitor air pollution in the capital. Grand Diwali celebrations at Ayodhya have set a world record as over 5,51,000 earthen lamps or diyas were lit on Saturday. The diyas were lit on the banks of the holy river Saryu and other places in Ayodhya town. Most of the prominent buildings and ghats of the temple have been illuminated. Several programs including Ram Leela and laser shows were organized at the Saryu Ghat. Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath, Governor Anandiben Patel and other ministers of the state attended the event. People also gathered in large numbers to witness the Deepotsav. Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath inaugurated and dedicated several developmental projects worth Rs 226 crores for Ayodhya. The government also released postage stamp for Ayodhya Deepotsav. Speaking on the occasion, Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath said his government is establishing Ram Rajya, where the government's welfare schemes are being implemented among the people without any discrimination on the basis of caste, creed and religion.
राम की परंपरा पर हम सबको गौरव की अनुभूति होती है और सचमुच जब हम अयोध्या की बात करते हैं तो राम राज्य हमारे मनोमस्तिष्क में स्वतःस्फूर्त भाव के साथ आता है। राम राज्य शासन की एक ऐसी व्यवस्था जिसमें जाति, मत, मजहब, संप्रदाय, क्षेत्र, भाषा के आधार पर किसी के साथ भेदभाव न हो, जहां पर तीनों प्रकार के तापों यानी तीनों प्रकार के दुखों के लिए कोई जगह न हो, आदि दैविक हो, आदि भौतिक हो या आध्यात्मिक हो, तीनों प्रकार के दुखों के लिए जहां पर कोई जगह न हो, ऐसा राज्य ही राम राज्य कहलाता है।
Adityanath added that India, under the leadership of the Prime Minister, has taken Indian culture and values to the world level.
आज भारत दुनिया की एक महाशक्ति के रूप में स्थापित होता हुआ फिर से विश्व गुरु के रूप में स्थापित हो रहा है और मर्यादा पुरुषोत्तम भगवान श्री राम के राम राज्य की यही आदर्श अवधारणा आज हम लोग गरीब के लिए, किसान के लिए, नौजवान के लिए, महिलाओं के लिए, समाज के प्रत्येक तबके तक शासन की योजनाओं को लेकर के जा रहे हैं।
President, Vice President and Prime Minister greeted people on the occasion of Diwali. President Ramnath Kovind conveyed his greetings to the countrymen on Diwali. In a Twitter message, Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu said that Diwali, or the Festival of Lights, is a celebration of the perpetual power of the good and its capability to conquer all evil. He said that the festival is a celebration of the light of humanity that burns within each and every one of us. Prime Minister Narendra Modi also extended Diwali greetings to the countrymen. And before we wrap this bulletin, we leave you with the visuals of Diwali being celebrated with grandeur across the country. And a very happy Diwali to all of you.